Hey there, everyone. I am so excited to be with you today. Cliff and I are here with Karey Nickel from Fresno, California. And Karey has been doing so many awesome things in his music career. And we got to know him over a year ago. Got to spend some time with him last year in July when we were in Santa Barbara. He came in and was able to perform even in the venue where we were performing. And we have really enjoyed, Karey, getting to know you and working with you. So today I just wanted to visit with you and like tell your
Mhm.
story. I guess the first question I have is like, how did we meet? Was it an ad that we were running, or how did you find out about our Entertainers Academy and what we were doing with other artists?
Right. Thank you, Cliff and Susan. It's great to be with you here today, and loved just have really enjoyed getting to know you guys over the last year and a half that we've been in touch and connection, and of course from across the country. I mean, I'm in California. You guys are way out in the east side, but we've seen each other a few times over the last few years, which is amazing. But yeah, I'd say I think it was just like an ad on Instagram or something that I saw. When we're musicians, we're always looking at upping our game and figuring out what's next and learning from other people and stuff like that. And I think I probably saw an ad that you guys were running for your Entertainers Academy, and I was like, that sounds like something that I definitely need to learn from. So I've had a lot of different segments of my career, different things, and I'm always about trying to learn from people who have gone before and already doing something. I don't want to pay the dumb tax and go through the years and years of trying to figure it all out. So I'd rather just shortcut to the good stuff. So
Oh,
that's
that's
what I.
awesome. Well, I am super proud of you because you are a classic example of an action taker who um clearly you had some success already. You were gigging, you were doing your thing in Fresno. And I would love to have you tell your story about kind of like what you were looking to do at the time in which we started working together. And then I also want to show everybody, first of all, you just got off a cruise ship doing your first cruise contract. You are now booking on the island at a venue where you had some your goals set. And so
Mhm.
you've been on this succession plan where you've just really done the work. And so it's really cool to see. So like when we started working together, tell everyone what you were doing at that point in your career and kind of where you are now. Just maybe if you
Yeah.
do that.
Well, in summary form, I mean, I've been a musician my whole life. I grew up in a musical family, and then I went off to college and got a couple degrees in classical music, and then I went into the Christian world, Christian music world, and I did that for a couple of decades. And music has always played a role in my life. In terms of financially, it's been like most of my income, and then sometimes it's been just a portion of my income. But between classical and sacred music, that was really the majority of what I had, any kind of music that I had performed over until the last, probably I want to say 5 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, is when I really kind of started to like think about performing pop covers and rock and jazz and all that kind of stuff, and kind of expanding my world into, I guess, the broader world of entertainment. And so, I mean, I've been a performer, I've been a musician, but I mean, it was completely different ball game with different rules and different, different things. And so, yeah, a year and a half ago, I was just kind of in the process of, um, you know, figuring out basically how do I make a living? How do I make some money doing what I love to do and what I feel like I've been gifted to do, what I have passion for, we can have passion all we want, but can we make can we make any money? Can we actually like support ourselves? And that's a tough one. That's a tough thing. In fact, it was funny. My daughter, I've got a 12-year-old daughter, and she said to me the other day, she said, do you make money from your how do you make money these days? And I was like, well, I perform and I do a little teaching, but I mostly perform. And she said, because I just learned in my school that like one of the hardest ways to make money is by by being a musician. I was like, that's probably pretty true.
Well, I
But
love that. Anybody who's listening to that, that is very true. It's true, but it's also something that I really lead with. That's what the name of Entertainers Academy is,
exactly.
becoming an entertainer and leading with a product in the music industry that is the fastest way to make money. Work with venues and agencies and opportunities that have hundreds and thousands of dollars to spend on booking you to entertain
Mhm.
versus the other route, which a lot of us still have in synergistic form of that, if you do it in a business model way, you can still have your original music and still be chasing the dream of, writing a hit song and all of the things. But though, if you really want to make a living, I mean, that's where I love to see the success you've had. So were you making a full-time living, or, where I know you did a lot of contracts at the Fresno airport. And also I know you were singing and playing, but you were working with tracks at that time. And now we've gotten you away from the tracks and started to be a little bit more, off the cuff and a little bit more free from tracks. So talk about some of that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, a couple of years ago, a lot of the only gigs that I was getting were, the typical kind of bars and restaurants. And a lot of times they just don't pay, you get $100 or $150, for 3 hours or whatever. And it's just not even enough to really pay for any new gear or even to, keep up your sound system, and all the rest.
Right.
So I was just looking for, like, where are the venues, where are the kinds of shows that are going to actually bring me some money that I can really live on and support family and stuff like that. What was the other question you asked me?
Yeah. So, and the improvement that you've made since then, and, just kind of
Right,
where, you're
right.
also the financial aspect, of course, but then
Mhm.
the progress of tracks versus now what you're doing and
Right.
your actual, the building of your show.
Yeah, that's right, and so that's all grown quite a bit in the last couple of years. I've been learning a lot of the new songs as a piano bar entertainer. Of course, you have to be ready to play a lot of different things, and so this cruise ship gig was definitely. I knew I was going to just throw myself into the deep end pretty much, and just be like, okay, I got to learn this
That's
one and
how
that one
we
and the
all
next
do it. I think we all at some point go, I'm just going to go throw myself in there and figure it
Right,
out,
and you either learn
one.
to swim or sink, and
That's it.
you can
That's
swim a
it.
lot.
Yeah.
You're an Olympic swimmer. I think one of the first things that you really took advantage of and made your own and kind of had, a little bit of immediate success is from our tip accelerator, implementing
Hmm.
that at one of
Absolutely.
the gigs. So
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. That was one of the first things that I put into motion. In fact, if I remember right, I saw your training on it, and within a day or two, I had a gig, and I put it together and put it online. Wasn't able to print them yet, or maybe I printed like a cheap version, but I just put it online and I set up the thing, and within a couple of days, I was already taking advantage of that, and that was definitely a big thing. It's funny because, like, so when I was on this cruise ship thing gig, and it was about 3.5 months long. I was on Norwegian, two different cruise ships, and the crowd, they would always they would ask, like, how did you get this gig, like, where did you come from, like, how did you do this, like, and given my age, like, I'm not like a spring chicken, like, I'm not like a super young, kid.
You don't have
They were just all, they were, what's that?
You don't have to be. That's the thing.
That's right. That's right. But they were all curious about my story. How did I get into this?
Sure.
And it was kind of hard sometimes to figure out how to, like, tell that story in a concise way, because it's always like one thing leads to another thing.
mhm.
But I do think that, like, I would tell the story basically how I found you guys, and then how I implemented some of the things that you were doing, as well as, then I made an effort and went to see you guys perform 4 or 5 hours away from me, and that gave me an opportunity to not only connect with you, in person, but also to eventually perform there a little bit. And you were able to get some video of me, and that made a huge difference in my demo sampler, and all that kind of thing. And so it's always one thing leads, and then you led me to Tammy Tanner, and then and so it's just one thing leads to another thing, and then eventually you find yourself, doing something that you never thought you would do, or have an opportunity to do.
I
So
think
yeah.
that,
But you rose to the occasion every time, and
yeah.
that's what really makes the difference. Is you not just making those connections, but being the whole package of being a great personality and being able to be
On
a
and
great
off
performer.
stage, and
Yeah.
working and networking and doing, playing the game and understanding that, you know, you have to work your way into opportunities. And one of the things I want to brag about you is that I know from the agency that you're working with, who put you on the ship, they saw your growth. You're getting like 5-star reviews. And a lot of people don't realize that performers, the way the ships look at how well a performer does is what people are actually saying. I guess they send out surveys and you get all of these reviews, and you were getting such commendable reviews, and that trickled back to your agency, who was just like, we're so proud of Karey. And like, he has gone now, I want to talk to you about the pros and cons of ships in just a minute, but there were some challenging times. I mean, it's not all rainbows and butterflies when you get on a ship. There's ship life, and then there's performer life. And being able to navigate all that and being easy to work with from an agency's perspective, being a great performer, being likable, all of the things on and off stage is all equally important, and sometimes more important than just whether or not you're a great entertainer. And so yeah, just really proud of what you've done, and excited that now, just to kind of get everyone caught up, he just got off the ship and you had your sights set on a resort and a venue on the island of St. Martin, and now you've booked those. These are month-long contracts. And so I imagine there's some financial gain. Are you seeing your pocketbook doing better now? And
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's been a big change already, and just having, the opportunities there in front of me for 2024. I mean, I can already see it's going to be, a year that's twice or three times the income that I had the year before for performance wise. So, and my show is getting a lot better, which means tips get better, and I have more opportunities. And so, each thing leads to another thing.
yeah.
Thank you for what you said. I do think that, like the cruise ship thing, I knew that it was going to be like a real like roller coaster. I kind of got that idea from the study and research I'd done. So I just was determined to like roll with the punches and like let everything come and not try to fight it, but just every time there was something in the way or some struggle that I had to overcome, just be like, all right, I can do this. And it worked out. It worked out pretty well. So, and then I always figured, because the thing is, that's what's great about being a musician, that you're your own boss, because we're not locked into anything. We don't have to do anything like for 25 years. We're not, we're in charge of our career. So I can try this out for 3.5 months. If I don't like it, I don't have to do it again. But if I do, if it's working really well, then great, So I like that about it. I could do these gigs and see if they work. And if they don't, I just shift and move to something else, So
Sure.
yeah.
On the positive side, did you have fun when you were porting in and getting to see the world and do the thing?
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot to love about the cruise ship world, and that's one of the things. Being able to travel, see parts of the world that you normally wouldn't, and being able to explore some of the islands in the Caribbean, and just meet lots of amazing people. I mean, I got to meet, of course, lots of passengers from all over the world, but also other entertainers. I mean, dueling pianists and comedians and vocalists and violinists, I mean, just all kinds of people. Now I have all these people in my connections, following them on social media, and they're like, we're going to work together again someday, just all that kind of stuff. And that all came, of course, from just being willing to go out there and throw myself into the deep end. So,
right.
Yeah.
That does lead me to my next thing about the fan base that you're growing. One of the things that we're about to jump into with our academy is really now that you've got this great product of a show, let's make sure you fine-tune the lead generation for growing your fans and making sure that all of your socials are optimized, that we build a funnel and you start giving them ways to follow you, support you, continue to be following your journey. And as you are in their area for a show, or maybe I saw you did a virtual show the other night on your birthday. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Those are all the things that I love to see you doing, because I know that's a natural next step for you to then, as you are growing your brand, then you can monetize them. They can support you virtually, because when you've got an international crowd, then you've got the potential to be reaching the world. The virtual component of that is something I'd love to explore more with you, because I think that you have such a beautiful piano set up there, and it's exciting to see. How did your virtual show go, by the way?
Oh, it was great. It really was a lot of fun. I do think, by the way, that I have a lot to learn yet in that area, to really capitalize on social media and on giving my fans something that continues them to stay connected them to me and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, the online show went great. I probably had 30, 40 people on at all times. It was about a 2-hour show.
That's good.
And yeah, I mean, it was nice. There were people from all the different cruises, and kind of I love seeing them all connect, with each other.
The community around Karey.
Yes.
That is super magical. And so the natural next step for me, or for you and us to work with you on, is we've got a fan group that we've grown from 600 to 5,100 people on Facebook, and it's a private community. Well, I use the word private, and it's just really cool because they feel special, and it is special because we go in and do weekly giveaways. We'll do behind the scenes. We'll jump on and chat with them live each week. We'll do a full-on virtual show with them. And so I think that is a good thing we can visit with you about getting set up. And that is what's magical. It's not just about, hey, we show up and talk. It's like all of these people there's some similarities amongst them, even if the
Yeah.
diversity is what beautiful, like people are connecting across the world in my community and or our community, you know.
Yeah, that's right, and I love that. I mean, I'm kind of a networker at heart. I like to see people
Yeah.
connecting, and it's really fun to see. I mean, I had, quite a few people on different individual cruises that then connected with each other and became friends, kind of around their love of my music, which was fun because I feel like I'm connecting them, and they have this shared, and now they're good friends and good, they stay in touch and stuff like that. But also like what was cool in the piano bar situation, and I felt like this was really special. I mean, I guess, and I don't know if everybody's like this, but to me, like I don't want to be like just like an entertainer without a heart. You can come out and just be like a dancing monkey, and make everybody crazy, or use comedy to kind of just like avoid the hard questions. But for me, like I wanted my show to have heart and to have like something like deep in your soul, and to have meaning and sincerity to it. And I felt like I was able to accomplish that. Like I was able to, people would sing together, like and bond and dance together, and really just experience like a spiritual moment almost together. And these are people, I'm sure, that come from like all different political backgrounds, and also, but it's unifying
What
around
you're
something
talking
beautiful.
about is I call it magic. I just think
It is.
it's spiritual it's
Yeah.
like metaphysical. We're all resonating on
Hmm.
the same literal frequency when we're singing along, and it's like an amplification of
Exactly.
endorphin releases. I mean, like the whole thing is like scientific if
Yeah.
you really get down to it. But that's so beautiful, and I'm so excited to continue to work with you. You're one of the OGs, full-time lifetime Academy members. So we do still have to get y'all your t-shirts, your OG t-shirts. Yeah, we're gonna get that
I
done.
look forward to
Um,
it.
yeah. Well, we'll be back in Santa Barbara in July. I hope we get to have dinner
I'm
again and
sure
look
I'll
over
be,
the beautiful ocean again and
for
catch up
sure.
and celebrate your successes. And just really proud to have you in our community. And thank you for trusting us and continuing to do the work and be a really a champion for just the music industry for people who are looking to get into gigging like this. And as a singing pianist, and then your evolution into growing financially as well as your craft, and then hearing that heart touching moment is really what to me it's all about. So thank you for jumping on
Yeah.
this today. And
Well,
have anything else you want to shout out to anybody else who would be looking
I
at involved?
mainly just want to say thank you. Thank you to both of you. I love, I was attracted to you guys for a few reasons. I mean, you're both incredible musicians in your own right, and the show that you have together is dynamic and powerful and beautiful. But I loved other things about you. I love the fact that you're always evolving and growing and pushing forward and like on the edge of technology, and your study of AI and all that kind of stuff. And also I loved just your passion to escalate and prop up or encourage other musicians and artists. And I just love that kind of spirit. Or I love an attitude where there's abundance.
Correct.
Not the
Yeah.
other. Yeah, exactly. And so I just appreciate that about you guys, and I want to encourage other artists to be the same way. And I love that. I aspire to that as well. I want to encourage other artists and other musicians and entertainers. There's no shortage of work. There's no shortage of things to do. So
Awesome.
yeah. So thank
Thank
you
you so
again for
much.
the
I
opportunity.
appreciate that. And yeah, somebody helped me once. It's like turn around and return the favor, and we all
Absolutely.
together. And so, and many times, we can share in the abundance. I love the word abundance. That's a great
Hmm.
way. I was like, someone said there's two minds of thinking. One is that there's one pie with 8 pieces, or there's
Right.
unlimited pie. And I don't know who said that, but I always go back to that. There's
Mhm.
unlimited pie. Like
That's
everybody,
right.
all eat pie.
Just create a new pie. Exactly.
Love it. Well, thank you, Karey. We'll jump off here. We'll say goodbye on the private side of things, but thank you so
Okay.
much for your time today.
Thanks, Karey.
Thank you.